Every morning, millions wake up, but not everyone truly wakes up. Most people open their eyes, but keep their hearts asleep. They rush into the day without realizing they've just received the most precious blessing. Another chance, another sunrise, another day to live with purpose. My friends, life is not something we are owed, it's something we're gifted. And every single day is a divine opportunity to live better, love deeper, and rise higher. When you opened your eyes this morning, the universe whispered, "You still have work to do, you still have light to share." So many of us wake up complaining, scrolling, comparing, forgetting that somewhere, someone prayed for the very life we take for granted. The breath in your lungs is not random, it's a reminder that the Creator still believes in your story. Waking up with purpose means realizing that every sunrise is a message from above, saying, "Start again, become better, use this day wisely." You don't need to have it all figured out, you just need to be thankful and intentional. Because when gratitude meets purpose, miracles happen. When you open your eyes each morning, before you even check your phone, before you start worrying about the things you have to do, pause for a moment and simply breathe. Feel that gentle rhythm of your breath. That is life flowing through you. That is the divine reminder that you've been blessed with another chance to live, to love, to try again. Gratitude isn't just about saying, "Thank you," with your words. It's about feeling it in your soul. When you start your day with gratitude, you shift the entire direction of your energy. You begin to notice not what's missing, but what's present. And that small shift changes everything. Think about how most of us begin our mornings, rushing, worrying, complaining, already feeling overwhelmed before the day even starts. We wake up and instantly think of what's wrong: the bills, the work, the mistakes, the people who disappointed us. We scroll through social media and compare our lives with others, forgetting that every single new day is a fresh page gifted to us by the universe. Gratitude takes that same moment and transforms it into peace. It teaches us to look at life differently, to see the sunrise not as routine, but as a message of hope, to see our responsibilities not as burdens, but as opportunities. When you wake up with gratitude, even the smallest things start to feel extraordinary. The warm sunlight filtering through your window, the sound of birds, the smell of your morning tea. These little things suddenly have meaning. Gratitude opens your heart to the hidden beauty of life. It teaches you that happiness is not something you chase, it's something you recognize. You don't need a perfect life to be grateful. You just need a grateful heart to make your life feel perfect. There was once a man who lived an ordinary life, filled with struggles. He would wake up every morning complaining about his problems, his job, his family, his finances. One day, after a long talk with an old friend, he decided to change one thing. Every morning, before doing anything, he would list 3 things he was grateful for. At first, it felt forced. He could barely think of anything. But over time, he began to notice more. The kindness of a stranger, the laughter of his children, the taste of food, even the challenges that made him stronger. Slowly, his attitude changed, and with it, his entire life did too. Gratitude didn't erase his problems, it gave him the strength to handle them with peace. That's the power of gratitude. It's not about ignoring pain or pretending life is perfect. It's about seeing the light even in the middle of the storm. When you start your day with gratitude, you train your mind to focus on what's good. And when you focus on what's good, the good grows. Your relationships improve because you start appreciating people more. Your work feels more fulfilling because you recognize its purpose. Your inner world becomes calm because you stop fighting with what you don't have and start celebrating what you do. Each morning, try this simple act. Before you get out of bed, think of 5 things you're thankful for. They can be big or small: your health, your family, a dream you're working on, even just the chance to begin again. Let that gratitude fill your heart. You'll notice how it changes your tone, your thoughts, and even the way you speak to others. Gratitude has a quiet power. It softens anger, dissolves fear, and awakens joy. In life, not every day will be easy. There will be mornings when everything feels heavy, when gratitude seems hard to find. But even then, remember, you woke up. That itself is a blessing millions didn't receive today. The breath in your lungs means you still have a purpose to fulfill. The ability to see, to move, to think, to feel, these are miracles we overlook. Gratitude doesn't require perfection, it requires presence. When you wake up thankful, you attract peace. You begin to realize that happiness doesn't come from having everything, but from appreciating what you already have. It's not about the house you live in, but the home you create with love. Not about the money in your account, but the contentment in your heart. Gratitude reminds you that life is not about counting what's missing. It's about cherishing what's given. So tomorrow morning, before the noise of the world begins, whisper to yourself, "Thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this chance. Thank you for another day to learn, to grow, to be better." And as you go through your day, carry that attitude in your heart. When challenges appear, gratitude will help you stay calm. When success arrives, gratitude will keep you humble. When pain visits, gratitude will remind you that even this moment is shaping you into something stronger. Gratitude is the seed from which peace grows. It turns ordinary mornings into sacred moments. It teaches you that every single day, no matter how simple, how busy, how imperfect, is still a gift wrapped in the light of a new dawn. When you truly wake up with gratitude, you don't just live another day, you celebrate another day. And that celebration becomes your purpose, to honor the life you've been given by living it fully, thankfully, and meaningfully. Don't just exist, live with meaning. There's a difference between waking up to survive and waking up to truly live. Too many people go through life like they're passengers on a train they didn't choose. They wake up, rush through their morning, work all day, come home exhausted, and do it all again the next day. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and before they know it, life has become a blur of routine. But to live with meaning is to step off that train and start walking your own path, consciously, purposefully, and with heart. Every human being has a reason they were born. Life isn't random. Every breath you take, every experience you go through, carries a purpose that shapes your growth and your soul. When you live with meaning, you begin to look at life differently. You stop chasing what everyone else is chasing, money, status, validation, and start seeking what truly matters to your spirit, peace, purpose, and connection. Living with meaning doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means you live every moment aware that your time here is sacred. Look around you. How many people do you know who are alive but not really living? They are constantly busy, constantly tired, constantly running after something, but they have no idea why. They confuse motion with progress. Yet when you live with meaning, every step you take is intentional. Even the smallest action, a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a moment of stillness, becomes powerful. Because it's not what you do that gives life meaning, it's the intention behind it. Think of a teacher who spends years shaping young minds. Her salary may not be high, but her purpose is rich. Every time she inspires a student, every time she makes a difference in someone's future, she's living with meaning. Or think of a father working tirelessly to give his children a better life. His days may be long and his struggles many, but his heart is filled with purpose, because he knows why he does what he does. Meaning turns hard work into fulfillment. It transforms exhaustion into satisfaction because the effort feels worthwhile. Living with meaning doesn't always require grand achievements. It can be found in the quiet, simple moments, sitting with an elder and listening to their stories, comforting someone who feels lost, planting a tree, or even smiling at a stranger. Meaning hides in the spaces we often overlook. The difference is that when you live with purpose, you don't let those moments pass unnoticed, you cherish them. There is a story of a man who worked the same job for 30 years. Every day he would clock in, do his work, and go home feeling unfulfilled. One day his mentor asked him, "Why do you work?" He said, "Because I have to." The mentor smiled and said, "That's your problem. You're working out of duty, not purpose. Find a reason that makes you want to give, not just survive." The man thought about it deeply and realized he loved helping people learn. So, he began teaching younger coworkers and sharing his knowledge. Suddenly, the same job felt different. He looked forward to going to work. He found meaning where he once felt emptiness. That's the magic of purpose. It doesn't change what you do, it changes how you do it. It turns ordinary actions into extraordinary experiences. When you live with meaning, your work becomes a form of prayer, your relationships become sacred, and your life becomes a message. Meaning also gives you strength in hard times. When life tests you, when challenges arise, people who live without purpose crumble easily because they don't understand the why behind their pain. But those who live meaningfully see pain as part of their path. They know that even struggles have lessons, that even darkness can serve growth. When you know your why, you can endure any how. Living with meaning doesn't mean life will always be easy or perfect. It means you'll have an inner compass that keeps you steady. You'll stop being controlled by what others think and start living in alignment with what your soul believes. You'll stop waiting for happiness to arrive someday and start creating it in the present moment. If you look at the people who inspire the world, you'll see that their lives are built on meaning. They don't chase attention, they chase contribution. They don't live for applause, they live for impact. They understand that real joy comes not from taking more, but from giving more. So the next time you wake up, don't just think about what you have to do, think about why you're doing it. Let your mornings begin with a question: what can I do today that adds meaning to my life or someone else's? Maybe it's helping someone, maybe it's improving yourself, maybe it's simply doing your work with love. Meaning doesn't need a stage, it needs sincerity. When you live with meaning, your energy changes. You walk with confidence, not arrogance. You speak with kindness, not ego. You smile with peace, not pretense. You begin to radiate something people can feel, a quiet, grounded strength. People who live with meaning don't just move through life, they leave a trace of light wherever they go. Remember, existing is easy, but living with purpose takes awareness. And once you discover that meaning, life stops feeling like a race and starts feeling like a journey. Every sunrise becomes special, every moment becomes valuable, and every day becomes a chance to live fully, not just to exist, but to truly be alive. How you start your morning sets the rhythm for your entire day. Every sunrise is like a blank canvas, and the first colors you choose to paint would decide what your masterpiece will look like. Your morning energy is sacred. It's the foundation of your mindset, your mood, and your motivation. Yet, so many people give away that energy before the day even begins. They wake up and immediately dive into chaos, checking their phones, scrolling through messages, comparing their lives, or worrying about the problems waiting for them. Before they've even had their first breath of peace, they've allowed the noise of the world to dictate the tone of their day. But those who understand the power of mornings know this truth: if you protect your morning will protect your peace. Imagine this: you wake up and instead of rushing or reacting, you sit in silence for a few moments. You take a deep breath, feeling life move through you. You whisper gratitude for another day. You let your thoughts settle before the world demands your attention. That quiet stillness doesn't just calm your mind, it prepares your spirit. It's like sharpening your sword before going into battle. The world can throw anything at you, but if your morning begins from a place of peace, you become unshakable. There's a reason why wise people, monks, and leaders all value the early hours of the day. Mornings are when your mind is clearest and your heart is most open. It's the time when your connection with the divine is strongest, when the world hasn't yet filled your mind with distractions. Protecting your morning energy doesn't mean you have to wake up at an impossible hour or follow a complicated routine. It simply means you choose to be intentional. You choose silence over noise, reflection over reaction, and peace over pressure. Think of a day when you woke up late, rushed to get ready, skipped breakfast, and started working or studying without pause. How did that day feel? Most likely, everything felt harder. People annoyed you easily, small mistakes felt bigger, and your mind felt heavy. That's because your morning energy was chaotic, and chaos spreads like wildfire. Now, think of a morning when you woke up a little earlier, moved slowly, maybe stretched, meditated, or simply sat with your thoughts. You probably noticed how calm everything felt. Even problems seemed easier to handle. That's the power of a peaceful morning. It builds emotional strength that carries you through the rest of the day. A simple example from daily life: imagine a cup of water filled to the top. If you start your day already overflowing with stress, one small bump, someone's rude words, traffic, a delay, and everything spills over. But when you begin your day calmly, emptying your cup through meditation, prayer, or silence, you create space for life to pour in without overflowing. Protecting your morning energy is about making space for yourself to think, to breathe, to align your heart with your purpose before the world pulls you in every direction. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is creating a morning ritual that nourishes your soul. It doesn't need to be long or complicated, just consistent and intentional. Maybe it's spending 10 minutes in gratitude, reading something inspiring, walking in nature, journaling, or simply sitting in quiet reflection. When you do this regularly, your mornings stop being a blur and start becoming a sacred routine that fuels your inner peace. There's an old saying, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If your morning is rushed, distracted, and anxious, your entire day will mirror that energy. But if your morning is grounded, peaceful, and clear, your day will naturally unfold with balance and focus. Protecting your morning energy is an act of self-respect. It's a way of telling yourself, my peace matters, my mental clarity matters, my time with myself matters. Think of your mind like a garden. If you don't tend to it early in the day, weeds of negativity start to grow, thoughts of fear, comparison, and doubt. But if you nurture it in the morning with positive words, gratitude, and calmness, it blossoms with strength, joy, and creativity. Each morning is an opportunity to plant seeds of focus and peace, but only if you protect that time from the noise of the world. Even simple changes can make a huge difference. Instead of waking up to your phone alarm and scrolling, place your phone away from your bed. Let your first few minutes belong to silence, not screens. Drink a glass of water to refresh your body, stretch to awaken your energy, and breathe deeply to connect with your soul. When you do this, you set a tone of mindfulness that follows you throughout your day. And remember, it's not about perfection. Some mornings will be messy, some will be late, and that's okay. The goal isn't to control your morning, but to care for it. Even 5 minutes of peaceful intention can transform how you feel. When you guard that small space of serenity, you build emotional armor that protects you from the day's storms. Protecting your morning energy also teaches you emotional boundaries. It helps you understand that not every message, email, or problem deserves your attention immediately. You begin to prioritize peace over pressure. You learn to respond instead of react. And that single shift changes not only your mornings, but your entire life. So tomorrow when you wake up, don't rush into the noise. Sit still. Feel your breath. Look at the light entering your room and realize this is another chance, another beginning. Before you give your energy to the world, give it first to yourself and to the divine. Protect that sacred time. Because when your morning begins with peace, your day becomes a reflection of that peace. And soon you'll notice something beautiful. Life stops feeling like a race and starts feeling like a rhythm, one that moves gently, calmly, and with purpose. Life will never always go the way we plan. Some days will rise bright and smooth, while others will storm with challenges that shake our strength. But the truth is, growth never happens in comfort. It happens when life stretches us, tests us, and demands that we become more than we were yesterday. Turning challenges into opportunities is not just a positive idea. It's a way of living that transforms pain into power and setbacks into steps toward greatness. Every obstacle carries a hidden lesson, and those who look deeply will always find a blessing behind the burden. Imagine this. You're walking peacefully, and suddenly a storm arrives. Most people would look up at the sky and curse the rain. But a wise soul sees the storm differently. They know that the rain, though uncomfortable, nourishes the earth. It washes away the dust, it feeds the soil, it makes growth possible. In the same way, every challenge that enters our life has a purpose. It's there to cleanse us, to humble us, to strengthen us, and to teach us what comfort never could. Think about the most successful, peaceful, or spiritually strong people you know. None of them reached where they are without going through difficulty. The calmest person was once deeply hurt. The strongest person was once broken. The wisest person once made countless mistakes. But they all shared one common trait. They refused to let their challenges define them. Instead, they allowed those challenges to refine them. There was once a young woman who lost her job unexpectedly. She felt devastated, angry, and scared. But instead of drowning in self-pity, she decided to learn something new. She used that time to develop her skills and eventually started her own small business. Years later, she realized that losing her job was not a curse. It was a divine push toward her purpose. What felt like an ending was actually a beginning. That's the power of seeing challenges as opportunities. It changes how you respond, and your response changes your destiny. Every struggle is an invitation to grow. When we face difficulties, we often ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But the wiser question is, what is this trying to teach me? When things don't go your way, it doesn't mean life is against you. It means life is trying to redirect you. Sometimes rejection is protection. Sometimes a delay is preparation. Sometimes losing something is what allows you to find yourself. If everything always went perfectly, you would never discover your true strength. Challenges reveal who we really are. Anyone can stay positive when life is easy, but true character shows when the road becomes rough. A person who learns to stay calm in chaos, kind in conflict, and hopeful in hardship becomes unstoppable. It's like gold. It only becomes pure when it passes through fire. The same way, our challenges are the fire that purifies our spirit, removing fear, pride, and weakness, and leaving behind resilience, wisdom, and grace. In daily life, this mindset can completely change how we live. Imagine two people facing the same difficulty. One sees it as a punishment, the other as an opportunity. The first one complains and gives up. The second one stays patient, learns, and grows stronger. Eventually, the one who chose growth not only overcomes the problem, but comes out wiser, calmer, and more confident. The situation was the same, only the attitude was different. A farmer understands this truth well. When he plants seeds, he doesn't see the dark soil as a burial ground. He sees it as a place of growth. The seed must be covered, buried, and left in darkness before it can bloom. In the same way, life sometimes covers us in difficulty not to end us, but to help us sprout into something greater. The discomfort you feel today may be the soil that helps your dreams grow tomorrow. Even in moments when you fail, remember, failure is not falling down, it's refusing to rise again. Every setback is a setup for a comeback if you choose to see it that way. When you fail an exam, lose a relationship, or face rejection, you have two choices: to dwell on the pain or to learn from it. Those who learn, who keep faith, and who trust that something greater is unfolding will always rise higher. Turning challenges into opportunities also builds empathy. When you've struggled, you understand others better. You become kinder, more patient, and more compassionate. You stop judging people because you know how hard it is to walk through pain. Life's challenges soften your heart while strengthening your spirit, a combination that makes you both powerful and gentle. And remember, every challenge has an expiry date. No storm lasts forever. Just like night always turns into morning, your pain will eventually turn into peace. The key is to keep walking, even when you can't see the light yet. Have faith that every difficulty you face today is shaping you for a stronger tomorrow. So, the next time life tests you, don't ask, "Why me?" Instead, smile and say, "Try me." Because every test you pass through leaves you more capable, more conscious, and more courageous. Your struggles are not there to stop you. They are there to show you who you truly are. And when you start viewing challenges as hidden opportunities, you no longer live in fear of what may come. You live in trust that no matter what happens, you'll find your way, you'll grow, and you'll rise. Challenges are not the end of your path, they are the bends that lead you closer to your purpose. Every mountain you climb gives you a higher view of life. Every hardship you survive builds a deeper gratitude for peace. So, embrace your challenges not with fear, but with faith. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that every obstacle was actually a bridge, carrying you closer to the person you were meant to become. Serving others is one of the most powerful ways to live a meaningful life. True purpose is never found in the constant pursuit of personal success or recognition. It's discovered when your heart learns the joy of giving without expecting anything in return. The act of serving is not about doing something grand or public. It's about doing something good, something kind, something sincere. It's about being the reason someone smiles, being the helping hand that lifts another soul, and being the light that brightens someone's dark day. When you serve others, you connect with something divine. It's a spiritual experience that humbles you, softens you, and makes you realize that life is not about how much you gather, but how much you give. We often believe that happiness comes from achieving, collecting, or winning, but deep joy blooms only when you start sharing. You'll find that the more you give, time, love, compassion, or understanding, the more fulfilled your soul feels. It's a cycle of abundance that begins the moment you stop asking, "What can I get?" and start asking, "What can I give?" There's a simple beauty in helping someone, even in small ways. Think about a day when you were feeling low and someone unexpectedly said something kind to you. Maybe they smiled at you when you needed it most, or offered encouragement when you were about to give up. That small act didn't cost them anything, yet it meant the world to you. In the same way, when you serve others, you may not realize the impact you're creating, but sometimes a small gesture can transform someone's entire day, even their life. Serving doesn't always mean charity or big donations. It can be as simple as listening to someone who feels unheard, comforting a friend who's in pain, teaching something you know, or showing patience when it's hard to. These are acts of the heart, and every single one of them carries deep meaning. When you make time to serve, you open yourself to love, not the kind that comes and goes, but the kind that fills your soul. There was once a young man who used to complain about his job and his life. Every day felt repetitive, and nothing seemed to make him happy. One morning, on his way to work, he saw an old woman struggling to carry her groceries across the street. He hesitated at first. He was running late. But something inside told him to help. He carried her bags, walked her home, and listened to her talk about her day. She smiled and said, "You have no idea how much that means to me." That moment changed him. For the first time in a long time, he felt real peace. From that day, he began to help people whenever he could. Over time, he realized that serving others had given him something his job never could: a sense of purpose. That's the quiet truth about service. When you lift others, you rise too. The joy you feel after helping someone is not temporary, it's deep, lasting, and spiritual. You begin to feel connected, not just to people, but to the flow of life itself. You start to understand that we're all threads in the same fabric, and when one of us is lifted, the whole fabric becomes stronger. In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to forget this. We become so focused on our own struggles and ambitions that we forget there's beauty in pausing for someone else. But when you take even a moment to serve, to check on a friend, feed a hungry soul, share your time, or give a little hope, you're not just helping someone else, you're cleansing your own heart. Service is the best medicine for loneliness, sadness, and pride. It teaches humility, gratitude, and love, the three qualities that make life truly rich. Service also changes how you see the world. When you help people, you realize how blessed you already are. You stop complaining about what you don't have and start appreciating what you do. You begin to see your life as a tool, a chance to bring comfort and kindness into the world. You no longer wake up thinking, "What's missing in my life?" Instead, you wake up asking, "Whose life can I touch today?" That shift turns ordinary days into sacred opportunities. In your daily life, you can serve in countless small ways. If you see someone struggling at work, offer a hand. If you notice someone feeling alone, give them your attention. If someone is lost in negativity, remind them of hope. You don't need money or power to serve. You only need a heart that cares. Service is not about how much you do. It's about how much love you put into what you do. There's an ancient saying, "The fragrance always remains in the hand that gives the flower." That means every time you give kindness, you receive peace in return. The more you give, the more joy you attract. Life begins to feel lighter, warmer, and fuller. Serving others fills the emptiness inside, because when you give love, you experience the essence of what it means to be human. So serve not because you have to, but because you want to. Serve not for recognition, but because it feels right. Serve not for applause, but because it aligns your soul with the rhythm of goodness. Every act of service, no matter how small, plants a seed of light in someone's life, and in yours. You may never know how far your kindness travels, but trust that it never fades. The world doesn't need more people chasing wealth or fame. It needs more hearts willing to serve. When you make service a part of your everyday life, you stop existing just for yourself and start becoming a blessing to others. And that is the greatest success a human being can achieve: to be remembered not for what they had, but for how much love they gave.